Okay, class, coming back to this character model, I'm going to continue and build out the simple hand and the simple head model. So this is a low poly model. This is starting from working from a cube. So I'm going to continue, and what I want to do is I want to add a little bit more to the hand here because ultimately I'll need a little bit more geometry here to work with. So I'm going to select my face, and then I'm going to extrude that out. Okay. Kind of just give myself enough geometry here. Okay. And then I will come back to that shortly. Okay. Then now what we need is the top to, well, this face here. And then we're going to extrude. In this case, scale in. And then move that in. I'm going to clean this up. Right now I'm just kind of at least setting up the neck area. Okay. Going to start extruding here. Okay, let me fix all this over here. Okay. Going to have the modeling toolkit open. I'm back into selecting my faces. Okay, you'll see that it's split down the middle, and what's happening here is because when we extruded, there is a face running down the middle, which is something we want to avoid. So actually I'm going to take these and move this in as well, and this. Okay. So I guess the best way to kind of see if we're on the right path is we're going to first fix that center that's happening in there. And then one way you can do it, let me try to do it with X-ray here. I'm going to select my faces. And then delete that. And then I'll fix that part here in a moment. No, I missed the ones in the neck. Just do a little bit of cleanup here. Do not need those. Okay. All right, so mostly not bad. Going to fix obviously the head shape, and again this is kind of a very simplified version. We are going to need to give it a little bit more dimension, and let me fix what's happening here in the center. So the best way to go about it, and let's see what these ones are. That's the back. Yeah, that's the back. So I'm going to bring that in. And I messed that one up, did not do that correctly, but I'll show you a way to line this up. A little bit better. Okay, so with my vertices selected, the best way, or one of the ways you can do this, is bring up the tool settings. We're going to, let's open up Move Snap Settings, disable that. Let's turn on our Snap to Grid, and then I'm going to just snap these to grid. Retain component spacing, what that's going to do is, let's say one of these components was slightly off from the other one. Retaining the spacing between that would still keep that space even if I snap the components to the center. I don't want that. I want every single vertex to snap to the center. So I'm just going to turn that back on for later, and then turn off Snap to Grid. Okay, now everything's nicely lined up. At this point, I'm ready to smooth this thing. Let me see how it looks from this view. If I need to give it a little more dimension, I can, or I'm just going to hold off and wait until I have more subdivisions. And to do that, I'm going to actually start utilizing this toolkit a little bit more. With my body here selected, I'm going to click on Smooth. That gives me more subdivisions to work with. Not so much where it overcomplicates everything, but it gives me just enough to add more detail. So for example, so here's the body shape now. I can come over here and I have more to work with. The side view, I have more to work with. So, if I start grabbing vertices here, I can start moving them into position and get a little bit more definition going. So as you can see, I'm able to refine all of these sections here. Where before I couldn't do that. I didn't have enough to work with. Okay. Here we go. All right. I have a little bit more I can do here now too. The neck isn't too terrible. I can start bringing in more sections here. Okay. And then moving on to the head part, this is where I can definitely now go off a little bit more on my detailing. Okay, we definitely want to start rounding this out better. So let me move some pieces out. All right, I'm going to start working on the hand and then come back to the face details later. So let's see what I have here. Start switching my views and continuing to work. I need to bring up the vertices, and I actually need to start kind of flattening this piece out a little bit. So I'm going to do exactly that. Just really try to kind of flatten here, just so I can give myself some better working space over here. Okay. Right, so I'm going to start selecting some edges. All right, so I have some edges selected, and then I'm going to go to the modeling toolkit and then click on connect. Press return. So why did I want to do this? Because now I have more subdivisions here. This will kind of signify my 4 fingers, and then the thumb will come out of this area here. Now here's the problem, however. We'll get this, you know, we have our quads, but then this is not a quad anymore. This has, you know, obviously we kind of have this break here, which we don't really want. So I'm going to fix this. So I'm going to use my multi-cut and then fix that. Press return. Go and take the multi-cut tool again. And here. All right. So I have my vertices. So now when I move this out, I have my quads, right? Everything is a quad now. I really do need to repeat the other thing on the other side as well. All right, so for the sake of just continuing, I'm going to select these 2 faces, or these 2 sections, and then I'm going to start extruding them out. Okay, and then I'm going to take the next 2 faces, or sections. Let me extrude those out. I want to separate these fingers out. And then I'm going to do another extrude. I'm going to do another extrude here. And then I'm going to look here and bring this down. Just kind of separate these out a little bit more, a little bit better. This can come down. So can this. Yeah, kind of the same thing here. And do an extrude. Oops. So nothing fancy, nothing special yet. I don't have too much here, you know, as much as I would like done, but this is kind of the first kind of general setup of these fingers. And then from here, I'm actually going to bring my picture back in and start moving out some of these sections. So what I can do is I can use these faces here, and I'm going to extrude those, except I'm going to extrude in, kind of bring that out, right? So you can really kind of see where I'm going with this now. Okay, so now I have this. So now I can continue to extrude sections out. See, extrude them out and start bringing this out into a thumb. So you can kind of preview what it's looking like, right? Again, I'm not happy with the fingers, so I'll have to go in and just kind of start adding in some detail, but that's not an issue. The main thing I want to do is just kind of get the general shape of this down, get the look of this down here. All right, and then I'm going to do another extrude here, bring this down, start really kind of, you know, wrapping this thing around essentially. From there I can start taking these vertices and giving this thing a little bit more shape and dimension. It's still a little short, so I can do one more extrude, but for the most part it's coming along.